Good morning. Good morning. It is summer and it is the last Facebook Live I'll be doing on a regularly scheduled basis for a little while. Welcome to my This or That Thursday for those of you joining me for the first time. My name's Karen Kong, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And every week I post 2 cards in my Facebook group, and I ask my crafting community, that's all of you, to choose a card, and I make it live on Thursday mornings around 9 a.m. And because school is finishing, today is the last day of school that my kids will be home, and I expect the house to be a little bit noisier, and so I don't usually do lives regularly on a weekly basis during the summer. And hopefully I'll be planning something, some new stuff, and taking some time to like clean up my craft space because it needs it. But I do want to come live every now and then, so I will try and see if I can squeeze them in, because this summer my daughter will be at summer camp for a few of the weeks, so that will give me some time to myself. Yeah, so it's been really crazy busy. It's been so busy because the kids are graduating. So my daughter's not actually graduating. She's leaving her school. She's leaving grade 6 and moving to a new school for grade 7. And my son has graduated grade 12. He just had his commencement on Tuesday, and today is prom. So we are having a little pre-prom party at our house, and so I've got to get the house cleaned up and ready. So anyways, all that to say, I am happy that I'm here for this last week of live. I had some fun on the weekend playing with the Scalloped Contours dies, which are new to me. They are retired, and I picked up the dies just by themselves. They do come as a bundle, they did come as a bundle with the stamp set, but I wasn't really interested in the stamp set. It didn't really inspire me, but I do like the dies. Let me show you. So they were very popular. Demonstrators have used them all over the place, and it's really just this set that I'm interested in, and the scalloped edging that you can create using that die. So there's only 2 dies here that I'm not really going to get any use out of, which is totally fine. I'm really happy to play with these. So that's what I used for my cards this week. So we are making this card, and I did have another card. Let me just quickly show you. This was the other one. It opens like this if you were interested. Super easy, very easy to do. But we did get majority vote on this card, and I made a whole bunch of them. So let me switch over to my desktop and show you what's going on. Oh, I should set up my computer. So I want to be able to see all of your comments while I am crafting, and so I need to just get this going on my computer so I can see the video. If you're joining in live, I would love it if you say hi and ask me questions, keep me company, because it's more fun to craft together, right? I don't really enjoy talking to myself, and it is much more fun having someone to talk to. So I hope somebody will join in live. If not, then it will be a quick crafting session because I will be very focused. Okay, my computer's ready to go. I'm just going to switch my camera over to the desktop. So close your eyes while I mount my camera onto the camera mount. And I just got to switch the view. Here we go. All right, looks like it's somewhat centered today. Let's bring it in a little bit closer. All right, so here's what I'm using. I've got my Scalloped Contours dies. I did use an embossing folder. This is retired, but there are lots of embossing folders out there that Stampin' Up! Usually has one in the current set that has some sort of wood grain. So there's a new one coming out. I know that it looks kind of like birchwood. And then I think there was one currently. Anyways, I know that there's usually one in the sets. So this is a retired one, but there are always options. And I used sentiments for this one from Splendid Thoughts for 2 out of the 3. So here's the other cards I created. So I had a lot of fun with making this card, and I just kept going. So I made one, and then I went on to make two more. I pulled colors from the DSP. So I pulled out the Flight Airy DSP, which was the Celebration freebie this past year, and I just picked colors from that DSP set. So I have Fresh Freesia, this is Boho Blue, and this is Lost Lagoon. So the person I cased it from, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember who it was I cased from. I looked high and low for a while last night just to try and figure it out, so I can give them credit. But they used a different bird set, and they used a stamp and die, I guess, and I don't recognize that one, so it must be an older set. But I did something similar. I just used what I had. I fussy cut the birds out of the DSP, and she used DSP here, so a subtle DSP pattern, but I didn't have anything that would suit this card. Oh, good morning, Sandra, glad you're here. So I didn't have a DSP that was subtle like hers, that suited this card, so I decided I was going to try alcohol ink blending to create a background, and I think it worked out really well. I really liked how it turns out. And so I'll show you how I did that. I haven't done alcohol ink blending with you guys, and I've only tried it like really a handful of times, and I really love it. I really want to play with that some more this summer and create some more backgrounds, because it's just such a gorgeous technique, and you get different results every time. I can't promise that, you know, there's no guarantees that you'll get something you're happy with every single time, but it's fun to play. So, okay, so today I'm going to use the Fresh Freesia version, and let's put this aside and make some rooms. So what I'm going to do first, as always, is I'm going to cut my card bases and cut all the pieces I need so that we can assemble afterwards, okay? Let's move some stuff out of the way, make some room on the desktop. That's always a challenge, isn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna put this on the side. I'll bring in my paper trimmer. All right, and I'll put this on the side here too. All right, so here's my paper trimmer, and we're gonna cut a regular card base. So an 8.5 by 11, just sliced in half at 5.5 inches, and scored at 4.25. Okay, so the embossed background here, the wood grain that I used, is just a regular mat, so it is what is that, 1/4 inch shorter, so it is 5. I'm going to take this leftover piece and I'm going to cut 4, let me just see, 4 by 5.25, so 4 by 5.25. Okay, so that will be for embossing, so we'll do that once I get my cut and emboss machine out. And then there is the scalloped piece here, so I need about a 3.5 by 4.75 piece. So let me just check, is this 4.75? This is 4.5. Let me just grab my die. I wonder if I could fit it here. Oh, that would be really tight. I'm gonna take a risk and cut it so I can maximize the use of my paper. Okay, so I need about 3.25 on this side. Okay, so that is for my scalloped piece. And you see this white piece in the middle? It's just a rectangle, and I just cut it just shy of the dots here so that you can see the stitching detail in that die. the die cut, I mean. And so it is, it's like 3 15/16 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch. It's just under like 4 inches. So this one is 2 5/8. I'll need 2 5/8 this way and 3 15/16. So let's do that first. So it's just here. And 2 5/8, 2 5/8. I feel like this side is angled up for some reason. I don't know if it's just a trick of my... Okay. All right, so that's the right size, hopefully. I'll just use my existing die cut to double check. So that should fit in here and just show the stitching. That looks good. Okay, so that piece is okay. And I've already got a piece of white for behind the vellum. So this is a vellum piece that I'm working with, and I placed it on top of white. Okay, so the white piece I've already got here. I just need a piece of vellum that is the same width. So this was 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to cut off the vellum 1.5 inches. Now what you could do is create your, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the whole piece and then I'll cut it down, okay? Because sometimes you get like a better pattern in one particular section of your vellum. So you can cut it down afterwards so you can focus on that section, and then that's what I'll do and save whatever's left for another card. So we'll do the whole thing. Yeah, let's do the whole thing and then I'll show you. Oh, looks like I have a little bit of color left from another piece. Okay. All right, so let's do the embossing here and the die cutting, all right? And then we'll assemble a few of the pieces so we don't lose them. So I'm gonna bring in my cut and emboss machine. So here in Canada, we are coming up to the Canada Day weekend. I don't know if anybody else has plans. I had planned actually to have family visiting, but all our plans were kiboshed. My son was sick recently, and the reason they were coming up was because we were supposed to have a big family picture taken this year, because we haven't done that since my daughter was born, and we scheduled it for this Saturday, but my son was sick last week, broke out in a rash. My sister and her entire family went on a short vacation, and they caught COVID. Well, I think one of them, like my sister for sure, has caught COVID. She tested herself this morning and realized it was COVID. So they're all sick, and the forecast is for rain this weekend. So I think all the signs point to not doing the photo shoot. So instead of having family up and having a very busy weekend, it's going to be a quiet weekend. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we have to survive prom tonight. I volunteered to drive my son's friends and have them over for a pre-prom and after prom party. They can just hang out here. That's really all they want to do. So I'm happy to accommodate. So I'm gonna have to clear out a whole bunch of things out of the basement and get that ready. It'll be fun. And my daughter's going to an end of year school party at her friend's tomorrow. So, you know, we've got lots of stuff on the go, and I think it'll be nice to just have a quiet weekend. So yes, Sandra says rainy long weekend means crafting. I like that idea. I do. I really do. Okay, so I am embossing my my background. I've been busy talking. I just want to double check I have the right piece in there. Actually, you know what? I don't think I have the right piece in here. I was talking and not paying attention. I think I need the bigger piece. Yes, I don't have the bigger piece. This is the right one. Good thing I didn't do that without checking first. So I'm just lining it up on the left side because there is a slight edge here where there's no more embossing, and just want to make sure that it stays straight because it is a horizontal look. Sandra, do you have any long weekend plans for Canada Day? It's like I just figured, like, I had not made plans for Canada Day on Monday because I figured my sister would be leaving then, and we would be just kind of cleaning up and taking it easy, and you know, honestly, I just had not had time to think about Canada Day plans at all because my daughter's birthday is next week as well, and I have not planned that either. I am way behind this year. So now, you know, I have to get that going too. So probably, you know, she's turning 12, and I'm thinking maybe something casual, like a dinner or lunch with her friends, and then take them all to the movies. I think they'd be happy. Okay, so let's die cut the scalloped contour. So this is going to be centered right in the middle. I am going to have zero waste in this. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. You you haven't opened, like, you know, taken out your trailer for the summer yet, eh? I'm just looking at your comments, Sandra. Okay, just making sure this is centered because I don't have a lot of play in this because I cut it quite close. I'm living life on the edge. All right, so let's put that through. Ooh, that was close. Okay, so I have barely any left over. All right, let me put that in the garbage. All right, so there's that piece. And I think I'm done with the cut and emboss machine. That is it. That's all we needed. So now we'll move on to a little bit of assembly, and then we'll work on the stamping part, okay? Got that out of the way. All right. So let's just put these together so that I don't lose them. I'm just gonna fold my card base, burnish the fold. Okay, and let's use a little glue. And this time I'm going, it doesn't matter which way you put the embossing, it's really personal preference. I could do either way. I am going to put it this way with the debossed side down. I'm wondering if we should go somewhere and take my daughter to see fireworks. I don't know. I really don't enjoy having to fight the crowds to go downtown, but maybe we'll take the free bus or something. I don't know. The transit system is free on Canada Day, so could do that. Okay. All right, so those two pieces are now together. Let's do the alcohol ink blending. I am going to bring in my silicone mats so that any color that leaks will be on the paper. Okay. All right. I don't know if there's a front or back. I don't think so. Okay, so with alcohol ink blending, this is so much fun. Okay, so what I'm using is a very high concentration isopropyl alcohol. I'll show you the bottle. I put it into a little small bottle just for ease of application. You need isopropyl alcohol in a very high percentage. Okay, so the first time I tried this, I had purchased a bottle from Walmart, and they don't carry the isopropyl alcohol in a very high percentage. I forget what it was. It was like, was it 75%? No, not that low. 80, low 90s. Anyways, you need like 99%, like really high amount, because then it works better when you're using it. It evaporates very quickly at this high percentage, which is kind of good because then you don't have your paper soaking wet, right? So I put it into a little dropper with like a tiny pinhole. Sorry, I don't know what the needle head. I guess that's the right word. Sandra, we don't have any, I don't think there's anything local here. I think one year they had it at Centerpoint for New Year's, like fireworks, but I have not had fireworks at Centerpoint in a long time, I think. So I don't know. There's probably some in Barhaven or something, but not sure. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you would take a alcohol marker. So this is the blends marker from Stampin' Up. I'm using Freesia to match my paper, but I didn't have matching colors for the other ones. Just so you know, you can make it work with similar colors because it's not a solid shade, right? So this is Boho Blue. I don't have a Boho Blue blends, but I used Misty Moonlight, and it looks like it matches exactly. The Lost Lagoon, I use Soft Succulent for this one. And again, it looks really good, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to take my blends marker, and I'm just going to make patches of color here, okay? And because I know that I'm only going to see the edges of these, right? There's nothing behind here. I'm just going to do along the edges of my vellum, okay? I'm just going to put patches of ink there, and I don't need to fill it all in. It's going to spread, and it's going to make interesting patterns in the empty areas, okay? And what I'm going to do is this is just like a, I don't know, one of those, what do you call them? I had it for like the kids. Yeah, Sandra, the Misty Moonlight does match very well. It's actually one of the colors in the DSP, so it probably is in the DSP already anyways, so that's why it matches so well. So anyways, this is one of those things, I think it's like, you use it for sucking out the mucus in like kids' noses or something. What do you call this? I forget. Anyways, that's where it's from, and I never used it, and so it's clean, and all I'm using it for is to push air, okay? So that's what I'm going to use that for. So I'm just going to apply this a couple drops at a time, and then we're going to move it around with air to create patterns, okay? So let's do this side first. So I'm just going to put a couple drops. Okay, so you can see it's already making a pattern here. So I'm just going to use the air to push it out and to spread it out and make interesting patterns. See, the alcohol is like drying up as I go. And that's fine, because then that means I can color it again to add more color, because you see here there's not a lot of color, but there's a whole bunch of color over here. Oh, my hands are in the way. Okay, so I'm just moving it around with the air, and it's pretty much almost dry at this point because of the high alcohol content. Yeah, this is pretty much dry. Okay, so I'm going to add some more color. A bulb syringe. Yeah, so it's really, I mean, like, it's really inexpensive. You can pick a new one up for it's pretty inexpensive. Okay, so I'm just going to add sections of purple again. I'm going to put a little bit here because I want a little bit there. And again, like, the results are unpredictable because you don't know which way the fluid is going to spread or how it's going to spread. Okay. Oh, I need a little bit over here. Okay. So I'm just going to move it around to make interesting patterns. You notice that the most color gathers at the edge, so I should probably do this in smaller sections so I have a better chance of distributing the ink while it's still wet, because here it's like it's drying into certain edges here, which is fine. I can add a little bit more alcohol to the paper, and that will break it up. See? But like I said, it's unpredictable as to what you're going to get. which is cool. You just don't know. I think I can just add a little bit more right here, and maybe here. That one's still a little bit wet. It's not getting applied very well. All right, let's try this. Yeah, so like I said, unpredictable and kind of cool. I feel like I want more color down here, but let's work with that later. I'm gonna let it dry because it's still a tiny bit damp, and I'm gonna work on this side. And I'm gonna work in a little bit smaller sections too, so I don't have as much gathering of ink, too much ink in one spot. But I mean, that's part of the beauty of it, right? Is where it where the ink stops and where it spreads. So I have done a card where I used more than one color, and it turns out beautifully too. But today I just want to match the Freesia, and I don't want a background that stands out too much. I want it to kind of be an extra detail, but not draw attention to it too much. So I'm just using one color, so it's mostly monochromatic, and I think that worked well with the original cards. Okay, so I'm going to add some more color here. And because I feel like, you know, when you add the alcohol, it pushes it over one side, right? You're going to end up color around the edges of wherever you're putting it. So I'm going to put it a little farther in so that it'll get pushed out, perhaps. It's unpredictable. And actually, I think I'm going to stop doing circles because I think it'll spread differently if I use different shapes. I'm going to add a little bit more. I think there are probably other tools that you can use to spread the ink. I have tried using the heat gun, but that dries it up actually too fast and it's too powerful. So that didn't work out so well for me, but I do know that other people have tried it. Maybe it works with watercolors better if you're doing this on watercolor paper with the water-based inks, because that's another technique that I've been kind of trying out, and I really like how it looks. So I'm pushing my color in towards the area that I want it, because I want my background to appear on the edges of my vellum. So this is vellum cardstock. It is a little thicker than some of the other vellums, and I've been told that, I haven't looked actually, but I think, like, this is Stampin' Up! Vellum cardstock, but I've been told that they don't carry it anymore as of this year, which is sad. What's a blow pen, Sandra? I don't know what you're talking about, actually. I don't know, I've never heard of those. Okay, I'm just gonna add a little bit of color here. Tiny bit more color here. Oh, and I wanted to color, I wanted a little bit more color here on this side. So, just need one. So when it dries, you can see all the swirls and variation in the color, which is really cool. Okay. But I don't know what a blow pen is, Sandra. Like, is it something you plug in and it blows air? Like, is that how it works? I think I've blended all these areas. I think it's just on this side now that I need to do this side. There we go. So you notice the paper is curling just a little bit, but that's okay. So I discovered that when you put adhesive on the back side of vellum paper and you adhere it to a white piece of cardstock, you can't see the adhesive. Because previously I'd always been hiding the adhesive behind other things, but you know, because you can see the adhesive, but on white you can't see it. It's really cool. Okay, so I'm only going to see a little bit of this on the edges, so I'm not going to worry about anything in the middle. I think I'm good with that. So what I'm going to do is now cut this down to size. Okay, so I'm just catching up on Sandra's comment. Usually at Kids Craft where they put ink on paper and they have a pen, they... Oh. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if I've seen that. Okay, all right, so I need my trimmer. This is already the right width, I believe. I cut it down to the right width, but I need to cut off a strip that's that we're going to use. So it is 1.5 inches wide, and I'm just going to flatten this. And there we go. So I'll have this piece left over. I will use it for another card. And I'm going to need to bring this in because I'm going to adhere it to my white. Okay, and I'm going to right to the edges so that hopefully the corners will stay down, right? Oh, I can see this is a smidgen too wide for my paper. I'm just going to cut it just a little bit more. And that is the beauty of a Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer, is that you can cut little slivers like this. Okay, so I just need a tiny sliver off of the edge so that it fits right on my white. Okay. Look at that tiny sliver I just cut off. Okay. So bringing this back so that I can get right to the edge without it sticking to my table. I'm using my silicone mat. I'll have to look at that link later, Sandra. Yeah, I was just thinking, it sounded like you just use a straw, but then, you know, it just you kind of feel lightheaded after blowing all that. Okay, so I am going right off the edge so that I can get the paper to stay right in the corners and not lift, right? So there we go. That's the beauty of the silicone mat, is that you can go right to the edge and it will not stick to the mat and it'll only stick to the paper. Okay, so let me just line this up. And there. You see? You can't even see the adhesive when it's on a back of white, right? So that's my alcohol ink background that'll be on the edges. Let's go to stamping. All right, so this is the white that we're going to be using, and I wanted a background on the back of my bird to soften up the white because I found it was too harsh just by itself. So I've already done the fussy cutting from the paper to save time. So I'm just going to pick out which one I want. I used to not like fussy cutting, but now I think I am actually enjoying it. I did this in front of the TV, you know, when I was kind of half watching something. Can't do it in front of something that's like intense and I need to watch. But I think the hockey game was on for a bit, and I don't need to see every second of that, so I did this in front of the TV. Okay, so here's, I think this, yeah, this is the same guy, so I'll use him. And I'm just gonna add some fresh Freesia in the background. I just need to find my fresh Freesia with a blending brush. I just saw your comment, Sandra. Is that oh my god for you've gone to the other side? Like people who like fussy cutting? I don't want to fussy cut everything. I am totally happy to use a die when it's available. So don't get me wrong. I would choose dies over fussy cutting, but I don't mind it completely now. Depends, you know. Okay, so I know my bird's going to be approximately here. So I need I'm just going to create a circle here. Oh, I need a piece of paper to dab off on. Oh, the amount of fussy cutting I did. Yeah, I told you. I just took the I just take the DSP with me in front of the TV, and I just cut it while I'm like just kind of, you know, watching. Okay, so I'm just gonna put it right in the middle. Just I am using a very light hand to apply it first because I wasn't sure. I didn't want to get like a blob, and I am dabbing off on the side. I want to concentrate the Freesia in the middle and then just lighter on the edges. It's a little bit more over here. There's no hard and fast rule. I'm just making approximately a circle. Okay, so let me just see how that looks. I think that's probably sufficient. Okay, I'm also going to stamp in black. And let's see, let's use the same one. Let's celebrate. That is from the Splendid Thoughts stamp set. Actually, you know what? I want to use Thanks So Much. I really like that sentiment too. That's from this current set. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So let's get the black. Sandra, it is such pretty DSP. Really, it is. I love that DSP, and I'm okay with the fussy cutting. And you don't have to do fussy cutting for a lot of it, I guess. Well, it's just the birds, right? But it is really beautiful. Okay, so I might have to stick my head over to see if this is. I hope this looks straight. This is where I miss using the Stamparatus, because I would be able to line this up before I stamp. Okay, see? That is crooked. I can see that's crooked, and that bugs me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know what? There's always the second side, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the second side, and we're going to work on that. Okay, so for those of you who don't know what I'm about to do, I can see there's a raised lip on the edge of the paper from cutting. I just take my bone folder and I flatten it so that it gives it a more clean look when I'm done. Okay, so this time I am going to bring in the Stamparatus so that I can, you know, I think I freehanded it the first time and it was fine. But of course, you know, because this is reality stamping and Murphy's Law applies, it will go wrong. So I'm just going to clean off my stamp. We'll mount it on the Stamparatus so that I can see that I am doing it straight. I'm going to turn this, hang on a sec. Okay, so let's mount this on the Stamparatus. Okay, so I want it here. And I'm going to pick it up with my panel. And now I'm going to eyeball this, and I can see that it is not quite straight. I'm going to fix it using the guidelines on my Stamparatus. I think that looks much better. Okay, so let's stamp that. And if it doesn't turn out this time, well, I'm going to get a fresh piece of white. That looks so much better. And I'm going to stamp it a second time just to make it solid. That looks so much better. Okay. Let's clean that off. Grab my chamois. And we'll pull this out. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to blend that center onto my card. Where's my Freesia? Okay, so right in the center again on the left. Okay, let's see. Is this enough? I think maybe I need a little bit more on this side. Okay. How does that look? Yeah, I think that looks good. Okay. So the last thing I did, if you notice, there is speckles of ink there. That is my that's my alcohol blends marker. So I'm going to take the brush tip and I'm going to gently flick bits of ink. Okay, so I found that when I press hard, I get directional splatter, and if I do it lightly, it doesn't get that directional splatter. Like if you notice, this one I noticed. I don't know if you noticed, but see the spatter lines? They're almost in like lines, and I don't want that. I want it to be more random. So I'm going to do it lighter this time. And I think that just falls better. Yeah, I think it works better when you just do it lightly. There's no need to apply much force. I think that's probably good. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's probably good. I'm gonna put this away now. Okay, so now I can just apply this. I'm going to use a little bit of glue, little dots of glue, and I'm going to bring my tweezers in. So I'm just using little dots so that I can get each of the edges of the leaves to stick down. You don't need a lot. And you don't want a lot because it'll squish out otherwise, right? You'll get glue squishing out. Okay. And I'll just use my tweezers to pick it up and position it. And I think that looks good. All right, I'm going to attach it to my scalloped piece now. So Sandra, you are asking if I've used my fine tip glue. So this, yes, I have this. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm too slow, but when I use this one, I find that the glue is dried before I even get a chance to adhere the piece to my paper. So I've not been really happy with that, and I don't know, maybe I need more practice or something, but I've had a hard time using that one. And there's like this needle that goes inside of the tube to keep it clear, like to prevent the glue from drying inside of the tube, I guess. And I'll show you in a second. And I find it hard to line up to get it back in. So all in all, I don't use that one very much. Okay, so I'm just lining this up so it doesn't cover any of the stitching. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to put on my pearls. I use the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels, and you know, you can always color the jewels to match your card, but I like it with the white. I like it without the additional color. I think the white is a nice pop for what it is. Okay. I'm gonna get my take your pick tool, and I'm going to put a couple down here. Oops. I don't press on it after in case I want to move it, which is exactly what I did just now, because I found, oh, it was like parallel. I didn't like the way that looked. So that is the beauty of using a take your pick tool. You know, I just place it down, and if I don't like it, I still have a chance to like lift it up afterwards, but I think that probably looks good. Okay. All right, so let's adhere the white to my card base. I'm going to bring back my silicone mat because I want to put Stamp and Seal right to the edge. I don't think it matters as much this time because the vellum is what I was really concerned about, keeping the corners down flat. And we'll put a little bit in the center. Okay. Oh, the Ottawa Library bingo card. Interesting. So they have like a bunch of, I'm assuming that means they have a bunch of recommended reads that you're supposed to get through for the summer. Is that the way it works? I'm just kind of centering this. Eyeballing it. Vertically, right? And then I'm going to use dimensionals to mount this. So I like using right to the edge of my dimensional sheet. So I'm just going to rip off a corner there and use it down here. I'll rip off this corner. I'll use it over here. Oh, general library activity. So what other stuff is there besides reading? I think that's probably... Okay. Let's take off the backings and we will adhere it. Oh, okay. I'm seeing like general recommendations. I thought that they would give you a specific book. Interesting. I don't even know, like linked learning. I'm not even sure what that is. I'm guessing it's some kind of online course they offer. But yeah, that sounds like it's a good way to promote like library services that you can take advantage of. All right, here we go. So I'm just going to use my tweezers because I like having my fingers out of the way when I'm positioning. So now you see, like, you can't see the center of my this piece here. So it was just the edges that show. So that's why I only did the edges. I think that's straight. that is today's card. So really easy. I mean, like, you know, you have to have the alcohol ink to do this, but I mean, it's really an easy technique to learn and to use, and it's fun to play with. And I love just the, you know, it's just a little bit of detail on the sides, and it doesn't really stand out, but I like it. I like that just little bit that it adds. And I think it makes a wonderful set of thank you cards. So I hope that you'll give it a try. Hi, Trisha. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, give it a try. It is just, I love it. Like I said, I had so much fun. I did it in 3 different colors. I may choose to do some more colors. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it with Flirty Flamingo next. We'll see. So anyways, this is the last regularly scheduled live for the summer, since the kids are out of school. But I'm gonna try and hop on once in a while. We'll see if we can squeeze them in. Oh, great! I have somebody else. I believe this is Jean. Yeah. So like I said, I like the splatters because I wanted to fill in some of the white space. It just adds a little bit of detail. But yes, so hopefully I'll see you here and there during the summer, but I plan to get back into it on a weekly basis, back in September when school starts and things get back on an even keel. But I do hope to hop on every now and then and do some card making with you. But in the meantime, have a great summer, have some fun crafting. I hope everybody makes some time to do some crafting this summer. And relax, and I hope it's a good one. I hope to see you soon. Have fun crafting. Bye.